want to end by saying, seriously speaking, honorable members, we are here for a season and for a reason. And how I wish that you and me, you and I, we get to reflect on what is our roles as the oversight members in this assembly. We cannot keep budgeting each and every time, each and every year, whereas there is no value for money that we are budgeting and appropriating for various functions. We are now almost halfway of our term. And my brother chair for implementation and any other person, Mr. Speaker, under your leadership, if I was asked, we would rather not even discuss on any other matter other than reflecting on what we have discussed before and see whether it has had value for money or not. If not so, we don't need to have so many other agenda before us, whereas whatever we have discussed, nothing has happened. Mr. Speaker, I want to end by saying, I wish to request you, and of course all the members, that on implementation, after adoption of this report, I want to undertake this as the chair for lands, that we need to have such a meeting, a full house meeting, where we are now putting on task these officers, especially the county secretary and the CCM for lands, to tell us what plans are they doing or putting in place to have most of these things implemented. Mr. Speaker, I wish to end there by saying I'm a disappointed legislator. I'm a disappointed oversight member. But again, I'm determined that I need to grab the whip for me to be or to reclaim my position as an MCA who does the oversight. Thank you.
Thank you. The member for Naivasha East.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I also take cue in thanking the committee led by Jogona for the report. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether, if I know you are of my age, but you read Romeo and Juliet. And maybe some members who are of our age did that one as a set book, Romeo and Juliet. There was a character called Mercurio, others called the Mercutio, depending on where you came from. The character, when he was stabbed, laughed all his way to death. And people said that he did make death a joke. Until when the character died, that's when the people knew that the guy was not laughing, he was dying. Now, if you juxtapose that one with the committee, what the committee has been writing, you will see that the committee is playing the character of Mercutio. It is laughing its way to death. Let me expound on what I'm saying so that I leave the semantics alone. Mr. Speaker, last regime, you remember we discussed the same observations and the same recommendations to most of our public hospitals. What happened then, we were asked to give out the names of the facilities that do not have what? Title deeds. We diligently gave out. This time round, we were also, through other characters, we were asked to give the same names and the same facilities to the government. It did. And now, because I know you are also a Christian, you have read the book of Lamentations. You see, when I had Honorable Paranga lamenting, the chair of lands, I also juxtaposed that one with the book of Lamentation and the Mercutio. Because we, through the department that he co-chairs, he chairs, we also gave out to the department. Mr. Speaker, let me come out to the grips of the matter. I do concur with the Honorable Paranga because he has been here for a very long time. Therefore, whatever he says in the House, you somehow believe in him because he's a senior. Mr. Speaker, there is something terribly wrong with the way the running of this regime. Mr. Speaker, let me put it clear, because last week we did a visitation to Bahati, where we met Mwadhi, Honorable Mwadhi. We also went to Morogo's place. We were also at Annex. And remember, Annex, when we were here, it is us who recommended that Annex be given a title deed. Now, when the saga of the two hospitals came, members did not come out and say that it was the report of the assembly. Now, Mr. Speaker, we will continue singing the same song. The one, ni kama vile tunaimba ile wimbo tulianza wakati tulikuwa nursery. And then you keep on singing. It is a game song. Inaitwa game song za watoto. Ule unasema ya kujificha na kadhalika. Kama hukujificha wewe si mtoto. That is what now the assembly is dancing to. And Mr. Speaker, I do concur. I don't know whether Honorable Muraya is here. There is this motion that we said we do introduce as we advised when we went to State House, that ministers and CCCs and the CEOs, when the report is being discussed, that it touches their department, then they must be inside the house. What we have been doing, Mr. Speaker, we have been singing. And when we call some of these people to come to the committee, you know, when you call them to the committee of the department, they somehow dance their way out. Mr. Speaker, and I don't know whether you'll concur with me, if we want to make the department, if we want to help the governor, then we must be seriously discuss and deliberate on how the departments are working. The department, Mr. Speaker, and members will concur with me, when we were vetting, Mr. Speaker, we agreed as a house that we need to move forward because there were court cases. But Mr. Speaker, cognitively, the way Gachagua said it last time, there are some people who are working in the department but know nothing about what they are doing. And people will concur with me. There are people, Mr. Speaker, when we today call for documents, they don't. And yet, we are seeing in here, asiyakufanywi kazi. I have never seen anybody, Mr. Speaker, who is cognitively challenged and is suffering from some sort of, I don't know what to call them, but somewhere there is a lacuna in the, let me call them a mental lacuna. And then you are expecting that person to act as a department. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I propose this, just the way Honorable Paranga is proposing, that yes, we are doing our duty as an assembly to pass reports, but the reports are not getting into the owner, and the reports are not being implemented. Because we did this last assembly, we are now doing the same song now. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I do request your advice, Mr. Speaker, that we have a committee of the whole in the assembly, and then we put the department there. Mr. Speaker, you remember the CC now, or it's not the CC who was there. But now we even don't know what type of philosophy is he implementing. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I do request, other than having a whole house outside, we do have, give you these people from the house when you are seated there, such that it goes to these records. And then, Mr. Speaker, we do now have the fourth estate. The fourth estate is a partner in development and is a partner in reporting. Let them come here, so that when we are greeting them, they be reported. Because, Mr. Speaker, what we are suffering from is that the government has people without the acumen and knowledge that is required to run some of these departments. And, Mr. Speaker, I do concur. And if this house want to go ahead, Mr. Speaker, let me profess that there is a gap in terms of implementation. And I don't know whether Honorable Kamwana is here, who is our chair in implementation. We argued and we said that we should rank those people who are doing well and those who are doing, and give a percentage. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I will also ask through you that we take stock, just like Paranga has said and the rest, we take stock of what we have done, and also member from Mayu, we take stock on what we have done, then we rank these people And Mr. Speaker, when it is benign, let us say that somebody so and so is not working. There is a department, Mr. Speaker, that has ever been asleep. His department. Through the department that he is taking care of. Last time, the absorption was 0. This time it is, Mr. Speaker, some of these departments are dead. What we are just doing, we are just now dancing into a grave. Mr. Speaker, let me do my what I was brought here to do. I support the report. It is like that prayer tunawekaga asubuhi. So let me do hiyo tunasema hiyo the Lord's prayer. I support the report and amen.
Before the Honorable Chair or the Honorable Kamwana, who is standing in for the Honorable Chairperson, responds, the Honorable Member for Kaptemba and the Honorable Member for Kiptororo, and then the Honorable John Mwangi will respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity also to make a contribution to this motion. Mr. Speaker, I want to recommend the committee for a good job and for good observations and recommendations that they have come with from this report. I'm a member of the Health Committee, and actually I was part of the group that visited the facility. Mr. Speaker, it has come from several members that we are doing reports, but the implementations of reports is not satisfying. And Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues also to emphasize on that. There's no need for us to come up with reports that look similar to each other every time, in every facility. But when it is presented on the floor of this House, that's the deathbed. It is the deathbed of that report. Mr. Speaker, if, for example, if I want to point out one of the observations or recommendations that we have made as a committee, that the county government of Nakuru should fast-track issuance of title deed to the facility. And we present that on the floor of this House. And then after this, we expect a relevant committee to take up the issue and try to find out why have we not had the title deed to this particular facility. Mr. Speaker, it's high time we demystify this committee called the Implementation Committee. Because looking at it, surely, I don't think they have the capacity to implement the recommendations that come out of these reports. For me, I would suggest that the reports that are emanating from different committees, like this one is now coming from health, should not tell us the obvious. Yes, we have noted that this facility does not have drugs, and then now we are making recommendation that the county government should facilitate drugs to this facility. Are we not just saying the obvious? This committee has gone outside and have realized the anomalies that are happening outside there and in these facilities. We wanted an extension of recommendation from these committees to tell us how do we deal with that person who is not supplying drugs to these facilities. When you say that there's no title deed, then it means that somebody else, somebody, somewhere has never done anything in regard to that. When you say that we need staffing, we want these recommendations to be charged directly to people who are responsible for doing or not doing what has been observed. So we want to say, because even if I ask on Kamwana here, I'm telling you, he might not be having a strategy on how he's supposed to implement the recommendations that are coming here. Let us extend our investigations and not write the obvious. these things are obvious. Okay, we've gone there, we've observed, we can write our observations, but the recommendations must be able to charge somebody who is negligent on his duty, somebody who has been bestowed with a responsibility and is not taking his work seriously. This one, I've seen it also in different oversight committees like PAC. They come up with very aggressive recommendations. But when it is tabled here on the floor of this house, that is the deathbed. We don't see this recommendation coming back to the house, wakuja watuambie, ule alilala kwa kazi, hata sahi amefanyiwa namna gani, so that the house can see a progressive redress to some of these challenges that we are discussing in this house. So, as a member of this health committee, I think, and all oversight committees, tusikuje hapa tuseme hadithi, ati tumeenda tukaona hivi, sasa inafaa ikuwe hivi. What we are trying to say here, ati inafaa ikuwe hivi, this is how this facility should be run. Are we making recommendation just to remind the county government of what they need to do? Or are we telling the county government that we know that you're not doing this, and so should take responsibility going forward? Mr. Speaker, with these few remarks, I beg to support.
Thank you. The member for Kaptembo. The member for Kiptoror.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want also to take this opportunity to actually thank the Committee on Health for giving us this report. Just as my fellow honorable members have said, this committee have been doing a very good job, but of course, the implementation part of it has not been taken seriously. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to actually talk on one of the recommendations on the issue of titles. Most of these health facilities in our county doesn't have title deeds. And Honorable Speaker, I want to refer to the 7 health facilities that are in my ward. None of them has a title. And that is an implication of almost all of the health facilities, including even the Nakuru Referral Hospital. I'm not sure if it has the title. When the saga of the War Memorial Hospital arose, we are all aware that this came and it was a wake-up call to all of us and to the entire county that most of our public lands doesn't have the title, meaning that some of these public lands have no title, and somebody somewhere must be having these titles. I want to urge this honorable house that it's high time that we all stand together and task each and every member in the executive arm to do his or her duty. When we talk about the issue of title deeds, and the senior member, who is the chair of lands, talks about the same, that shows that the CCM lands and his entire department wameshindwa na kazi yao. Na mtu akishindwa na kazi yake, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jukumu letu pia, kwa sababu ni sisi ndio tulimpea hiyo kazi, ni jukumu letu pia kumfukuza nyumbani. Tumtafute mtu ambaye anaweza kufanya ile kazi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni aibu sana katika wadi yangu kuna dispensary ambayo iko na nurse moja. The same nurse has not been going for his leave for the last 3 years simply because of the shortage of nurses in our county. The shortlisting was done the other day. I think it is also high time that we ask and interrogate on how this shortlisting was done. That if it is going to satisfy these honorable members, Honorable Speaker, something somewhere is wrong. And of course, we need to task each and every person. I want actually to ask this honorable House that it is high time that we summon the county secretary of this great county to give us answers on what is happening in this great house. Honorable Speaker, it is shame that we have now left our work to the bloggers of this county, that they are bringing out the information that we are supposed to interrogate the members of the executive. Honorable Speaker, this house must be respected. We have been respecting the executive, but it is high time now they respect us. When we ask them to appear in our committees, they respect our committees. And if they fail to do so, it is high time that we summon them. If they fail to honor our summon, it is high time that we send them home. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Turi, kindly respond.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Nitaanza kwa kushukuru wajumbe kwa kuchangia na pia kuunga mkono. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa kweli tumeweza kusikiza yale ambao waheshimiwa wabunge wameweza kusema, na hasa mambo ya vyeti vya kumiliki mashamba ni jambo ambalo limeweza kujitokeza kwa wadi mingi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ile mimi ambao ningeomba naungana na waheshimiwa wenzangu, na kuna mheshimiwa mmoja ambaye ni mwenyekiti wa kamati ya mashamba na mipango ya miji, Mheshimiwa Palanga, ambaye ameomba ikiwa inawezekana tukuwe na mkutano wa bunge mzima na hao executive na ili tuweze kujadili mambo hayo. Pia it is my prayer if we can be able to amend the standing orders so that we can be able to accommodate and create a room whereby we can be able to invite the CCM as well as the CEO so that we can be able to tackle some of the issues and so that they can be able to answer some of those particular questions that are very burning to our wards. Also, the issue of our dispensary, the health facility. We have realized that in a majority of our health facility and the dispensary, you find that in our dispensary, we have only one nurse. And in that particular situation, if the nurse is going to go for leave or the nurse is ill, that particular dispensary is being forced to be closed down. So, therefore, you find that if that is going to happen, then we are denying the Kenyans, who are the taxpayers, their right to receive proper medical health care. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think through your office, we are going to, if it is possible, I think we are going to, it is good that we amend the standing orders so that we can be able to be inviting those, the Waziri, the CEO in this particular honorable house to answer some of those particular questions. Also, it was last week when the shortlisting was being done. And I think they are going to do this particular process with speed so that those particular facilities that they do not have adequate staff, they can be able to get extra so that the wananchi, they will continue to receiving their services. Also, there are some issues which has also been handled, and I think it is those ones they now relate, or we the honorable members, we are the one who are supposed to handle some of those particular problems. For example, the issue of racking a permanent source of water at Marigeshoni. I think we can also, we as the honorable member, talk to our electorate during the public participations so that they can be able to allocate funds and have a permanent source of water so that we can be able to have clean source of water at our facility and our patient can be able to receive proper services. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I am grateful and I support. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Turi. Now, three things that are coming from this discussion and this debate. One, the land ownership for the health facilities. It has been confirmed that most of the facilities do not have ownership documents in favor of the public and the government. The chairperson, Committee on Lands, take that. That it's not just a matter of collecting names of the public spaces and public facilities, and after that, there's no tangible action as to register the parcels of land. So it's within the shortest time. You're going to have your committee and agree on how this is going to be done. And if you have done it in the past, then you can liaise with the office of the speaker to see how we get answers for this particular issue. The other item that has come out is the staff shortage. And of course, even right now, we are having even members of this county assembly who have and are still building health facilities and more health facilities. And even within the same wards, there are others that are complete, but with no staff. So, honorable members, the Committee on Health, the chairperson, Committee on Health, and members, you need to see and to agree, even now as the budget process is on the operationalization of those complete staff health facilities, and see how you're going to do the staffing for the said facilities. The Honorable Chairperson for the Committee on Labor, you're going to liaise with the County Public Service Board on the Department of Public Service and Devolution Training, and understand the shortages in liaison with the Department of Health on the areas that do not have staff. For the water supplies, the Honorable Member for Turi has responded to that. It's also good to be realistic that the Department of Health may not really, and even the Department of Environment may not really be able to do water reticulation in all the public places. So the members of the public from a certain ward and the members of the county assembly need to agree on how to be able to have such projects as the water supply to be able to alleviate the issue of biosecurity and biosafety, the hygiene in our health facilities. So it is agreed, and after this, it has been said that the Committee on Health has been giving reports, and essentially, that's what the committee need to be doing. Any other committee or any other sectoral committee need to be bringing such reports so that now it can be known what is happening on the ground. So we encourage the Committee on Health to continue with its work. However, it has been said it's not enough. We need actionable points and action as we move forward. So I'm going to proceed to put it to question. The motion is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Health Services on the visit at Mariashoni Health Center that was held on 24th May 2023. As many who are of that opinion say aye. As many who are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the orders of the morning session.
Honorable members, this House is adjourned to 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.